At the heart of every successful startup lies a problem worth solving. Too often, entrepreneurs rush to build products, features, or technologies without asking the most fundamental question: is this problem significant enough to matter? The truth is that great startups don't begin with great ideas. They begin with great problems. A problem that is urgent, painful, and widespread creates the foundation upon which valuable products are built. This guide is not about generating random ideas, it's about sharpening your ability to recognize which problems have real market potential. Because when you choose the right problem, everything else becomes easier. Customers seek you out, solutions resonate, and growth feels natural rather than forced. Market pull is always stronger than founder push. If you are solving a real, meaningful income looking for you, and that is the beginning of something truly powerful. The selection of the right problem is not just the first step, it's the foundation of success. Startups ultimately rise or fall not because of execution alone, but because of whether they chose the right battle to fight. You can have flawless execution, a brilliant team, and unlimited funding. But if you're addressing a trivial or irrelevant problem, the business will still fail. Great products are built around pain points. Pain creates urgency, and urgency drives demand. If users feel genuine frustration, inefficiency, or even financial loss due to a problem, they will go to extraordinary lengths to make it disappear. These are the problems that attract loyal customers and create lasting value. The size of the problem also matters. A mediocre solution to a massive problem often outperforms a perfect solution to a tiny one. Solving a huge problem, even imperfectly, opens the door to scalability and impact. By contrast, solving a small, niche problem flawlessly may still leave you with a tiny market that cannot sustain a business. That's why market pull, customers demanding solutions, is infinitely stronger than founder push, where you are forcing an idea onto the market. When you solve problems that truly matter, customers don't need convincing. They seek you out, advocate for your solution, and create organic growth momentum. In short, the startup's foundation rests on choosing the right problem, because no matter how talented the team, you cannot build a castle on sand. So, what exactly defines a good problem? There are four essential characteristics. The first is painful. The problem must cause genuine frustration, wasted time, inefficiency, or financial loss. The deeper the pain, the stronger the motivation for users to seek relief. The second is frequent. Problems that occur only once in a while rarely justify an ongoing solution. The best problems are those that show up in users' daily or weekly lives, creating a constant reminder of the need. The third is expensive. This doesn't just mean financial cost, it can also mean emotional cost, lost opportunities, or wasted productivity. But ultimately, for a business to thrive, users must be willing to pay real money to solve the problem. If solving it doesn't impact their wallet, their time, or their peace of mind, it won't sustain a company. The fourth is growing. The most valuable problems expand alongside larger trends. Technology shifts, regulatory changes, or cultural movements. For example, as remote work grew, problems around team collaboration and digital security exploded in importance. The best problems, of course, check all four boxes. They are painful, frequent, expensive, and growing. If you're missing one, the opportunity may still exist, but you should carefully consider whether it's worth pursuing. The more boxes checked, the stronger your foundation for building a successful startup. Just as there are characteristics of good problems, there are also red flags that should make you pause. The first is the personal bias trap, solving problems that only you care about without validating whether others share the same pain. Many founders fall in love with their own problems and assume they are universal. Without broader market validation, this is a recipe for failure. The second red flag is the nice to have illusion. Convenience is not the same as necessity. Customers may nod politely and say, "That's interesting," but unless the problem feels essential, they won't pay or commit. Successful startups solve must have problems, not optional conveniences. The third is tiny market reality. Even if the problem is painful and frequent, if the target market is too small or shrinking, the opportunity won't support a scalable business. Market size matters just as much as problem depth. The fourth red flag is assumption overload, relying too heavily on your gut without rigorous validation. Assumptions without evidence can blind founders to reality, leading them to build solutions for imaginary needs. These red flags remind us that enthusiasm isn't enough. Every problem must be tested, validated, and examined critically before building solutions around it. To evaluate whether a problem is worth solving, we can use several frameworks. One powerful tool is the Jobs to be Done JTBD framework. This approach asks, what specific job is the user hiring a product to accomplish? People don't buy products, they hire them to do jobs. These jobs can be functional, like completing a task, emotional, like reducing stress, or social, like looking good in front of peers. The clearer the job, the stronger the opportunity. Another tool is the pain versus frequency matrix. Plot problems on two axes, how painful they are and how frequently they occur. The sweet spot is problems that are both high pain and high frequency. That's where the strongest opportunities live. Then there's the willingness to pay test, the ultimate form of validation. If users are willing to pay money today, even for a partial or imperfect solution, you struck gold. Words of interest mean little compared to wallets opening. Finally, trend alignment is key. Some problems grow larger because of external forces, technological advances, cultural shifts, or regulatory changes. Startups that align their solutions with these macro trends ride a wave of momentum that accelerates adoption. By applying these frameworks, founders can separate exciting but weak problems from the truly powerful ones that support scalable businesses. Let's look at three famous case studies that illustrate how solving the right problem creates billion-dollar companies. The first is Airbnb. The problem they tackled was that travelers faced expensive, limited hotel options. Their solution was peer-to-peer accommodations that were cheaper and more unique. The key insight was that millennials, especially budget-conscious ones, desperately wanted affordable travel experiences. By solving a painful, frequent, and expensive problem, Airbnb unlocked a global market. The second is Uber. The problem was unreliable transportation. Taxis were inconsistent, wait times were unknown, and cash-only payments created friction. Uber's solution was instant, transparent rides with upfront pricing. Their key insight was solving the urban mobility pain point which millions of people experienced daily. Again, this was not about inventing a new need. It was about solving an existing frustration better than anyone else. The third is Dropbox. The problem was file access chaos, losing files, dealing with USB drives, and version confusion. Dropbox's solution was seamless cloud storage and syncing across devices. The key insight was making file management invisible. Once again, the pain was common, constant, and expensive in terms of lost productivity. Dropbox simply erased it. Notice the pattern. None of these companies invented new needs. They solved existing frustrations that were painful, frequent, expensive, and growing. That is the blueprint for identifying problems worth solving. At the end of the day, startups don't succeed because founders are visionaries with genius ideas. They succeed because those founders chose to solve the right problems, the kinds of problems that keep people up at night. that drain money or time and that grow larger with every passing year. The process begins with disciplined selection, identifying painful, frequent, expensive, and growing problems. It requires avoiding red flags, validating assumptions, and applying structured frameworks. And as the case studies show, billion-dollar companies are built not on novelty, but on clarity, on the relentless pursuit of solving frustrations better than anyone else. So the challenge is this: don't start with solutions, start with problems. The sharper your problem definition, the stronger your foundation. Because in startups, solving the right problem is half the battle, and often, it's the battle that determines whether you'll be among the 90% who fail or the rare few who change the world.